All right. Let's see what's going on. I hope I have all the technical difficulties all worked out here. And are you guys ready for another Everything and Nothing podcast with your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio, just saying what's up. Now, I hope everybody has the title and description of this week's podcast set into their brains now at this point, because as you can see firsthand why it's important to slow down sometimes. So I have everybody can hear me now. How about now? Well, welcome to Legend. That brings me right into this week's discussion. So this week's discussion about slowing down, taking a breath, and not getting overwhelmed. That has been my problem for a really long time. Okay? Having too much to do at once and getting overwhelmed pretty quick, where I, sometimes have to take a couple of steps back in order to, understand that I don't have to do so many things at one time. But as I discussed in some of the other podcasts, two podcasts ago, whatever, how I suffer from bad OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. So what happens with me is I get so caught up in working on so many projects at one time that I can't slow down. And I can't slow down to the point where certain things get overlooked and then I miss things, or I'm too anxious to get something else started. So I rush on the projects that I'm working on currently in order to get to the next thing that I'm going to work on. I don't know if anybody else suffers from things like that, but I definitely do. Hence why my podcast today, when I started, you didn't have any sound. Let me tell you how this all started. Well, I don't know if we can go that far back, but let me tell you how this all started, okay? This all started because I had electrical work to finish on the kitchen island here for my cooking and eating videos. And I had to so what I did was I made the island that I do the cooking and eating videos on. I cut down that short little wall that was there so that you could see directly onto the work surface and you could see directly on top of the stove at this point. Because for a filming standpoint, and the idea of the instructional cooking videos is so that you could see what's going on. So I had to get all that done. In the interim, I had an outlet that was on the island that was in that little partition, that short little wall that was in the front. That's why you couldn't see everything directly straight on when I was working, right? Cutting, chopping, ingredients, certain things like that. And even though I take close-up shots of those things and you do see them much closer when I edit, it's nice to actually see me doing the work. Or when I have somebody else on, and hopefully I'll get that video up soon, when I have somebody else on, you can see them and you can see what they're doing and at the same time. So when I did that, I moved the electrical work inside the island. And what I didn't take into consideration, and I should know better, right? Me being a carpenter and knowing the building process and knowing exactly how to get things done and in the order that they get done, right? Because there is an order and a process to everything, a system and a process to everything, right? You create a system to get something done, and then you create a process in order to do it in. Because certain things do need to be done in steps, right? It's kind of why math is the way math is, right? 2 + 2 is 4. And whoever created the idea of the math equation, good for you. But the idea is that it has to be done in that order, right? You can't get to 4 any other way except for adding 4 things, adding up 4 things together to get to the number 4. So the process of how things work has to be done that way. And when you rush and you do things and try to do things too fast, right? How we doing, Thomas? We're good now, right? Yolanda, Tina, Gina. Okay, we got a bunch of people with us, right? So the process in which these things get done is extremely important. So what happened was when I moved the electrical in the island, I moved the outlet, but I didn't move the Romex wire that was in the stud. It needed to be moved lower so that when I put the header plate on the small partition and I screwed it down, I didn't screw through the wire. Well, I didn't slow down and I didn't remember the process well enough. So let me show you how this went. So I put the island all back together. Countertop went back on. And everybody saw the countertop. And you'll see it in the next video that I post. Countertop is all done, all butcher block, stained, finished, the whole 9 yards. It looks fantastic. But I needed to put a different outlet, so I put a recessed pop-up outlet in the island in my kitchen for the studio now, which is cooler than shit. So when you press down on the outlet in the countertop, I recessed it into the countertop. I took the router and recessed the whole thing in there. So when you push on the outlet now in the countertop, the outlet pops up. So it's no longer needs to be in that little partition. So anyway, I put the screw right through the wire. So let me tell you what proceeded to happen. Because every action has a reaction and causes a chain reaction, right? It's kind of like that ripple effect. And I know everybody knows about that ripple effect, right? It's when you throw something in the water, right? We all know what the ripple effect is. Okay, you throw something in the water, right? And you see what happens to the water, right? It creates a ripple effect. It starts in that little circle where you threw the rock or whatever you threw in there. Don't go throw cement shoes in the river or in the ocean. And when you throw something in the water, the ripple eventually gets bigger as it gets further out, right? We've all seen that. So what happened is I put the screw through the wire, not even knowing, right? Because at this point, I put the whole island back together. And I put wrought iron brackets underneath the overhang on the island so you can sit it. It's nice. It's finished. So like my smile on my face is just from ear to ear. And I'm just so happy about getting everything finally finished so I can get to the next thing that I need to do or want to do. So unbeknownst to me, and those are $3 words, you'll have to, get used to them. I do read a lot. So I went to plug the island in now because that's how I get power to the outlet and power to my stove and oven. So I plugged it in. And now everybody knows, anybody who knows electrical work and knows about shorts, is when I plugged that in, it created a power surge directly at the surge protector, which my computer was plugged into. My big screen that's on the wall that I use as my confidence monitor, I'm using the smaller one now. The big screen TV I use as the confidence monitor, 2 of the outlets, and the surge protector, all of them went. Literally, pop, smoke, blew up the whole 9 yards. So because I couldn't slow down, and because I couldn't take a breather and waste any time, I didn't remember the process and I didn't pay attention enough. So shame on me. And here we go, folks. We're opening up to everything and nothing here. You heard? You ready? Here we go. Boom, boom. Here comes the first one. Super chat. Dun, da, da. And thank you, Tina. That's what's up. Big Bang Boom Ba. Got the super chat. And I've been working on getting all this, dialed in also, right? The Stream Deck and everything. So you notice now when I hit the super chat, I do a lot of fixing, but here's my deal with slowing down and taking a breath. Sometimes I forget things because, one, I'm getting old. And everybody over there in the 50 club, you know what's up. And I'm not just talking about 50 Cent. Now 50 Cent is in his 50s. So the idea is, I forget sometimes because I'm working, trying to get a couple of things done at one time. And then the problem is that I don't slow down enough to take a breath and acknowledge the amount of work and the amount of accomplishments that I've achieved at that point in time. So I have a tendency to push and just push through things. So I have a tendency not to remember that I didn't do something. And that becomes a problem. I think a lot of people who, suffer from OCD and compulsiveness is that we're working on something so focused and so diligent sometimes is that we forget to take a step back, take a look, and remember what we've done and how much we've accomplished so far so that we can reflect and detect anything that may be missing or something that, was out of our control that we couldn't handle at the time. And I think people suffer from OCD and have this, super drive behind them. We have a tendency to forget those things because we're always worried about not getting the task done quick enough and then not being able to have enough time to work on something else afterwards. So I suffer from that idea of not being able to slow down. I digress. And here comes the super chat. Dun da da. Thank you. That's what's up, Yolanda. And that brings me to the other thing, right? A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I was doing a giveaway. And Yolanda, I'm sending this out to you so that you know that this beautiful Native American dream catcher here, which is beautiful. It's very, very nice. It's all handmade too. And, it has the little card here and where it was made and the authenticity and the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to be sending this out tomorrow, Yolanda. It's nice. And this is carved out of real bone over here, the little frog. It's just wonderful. There's a beautiful crystal here. It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to ship this out to you tomorrow. Give it some time to get there. It'll get there. But I can't say thank you enough. And thank everybody for the super chats. It really does help. And it keeps the content going. And Yolanda has just gone above and beyond. Like, she's always sharing everything that I, put out there. And man, she inspires me to inspire other people because she really does take the time to acknowledge the amount of work and the amount of mess ups that I have. But thank you very much, Yolanda. And this is getting sent out to you. Thank you. So the idea of all of this is so that I don't get I don't want nobody giving me the goat. You heard? Because sometimes I have this thought process. Okay. So my thought process this Sunday, again, and I know a lot of people have to deal with these same things, is that I didn't think I was going to be able to do the podcast today. Because like I said, Thursday, this is how it went. Thursday night, here I am troubleshooting the electrical problem that I did to my house. Not just the studio down here. The studio is, one part of my house. Like, the studio is big, but it's still part of my house. So here I am thinking I blew up the panel in my house. So I had to check everything 4 to 5 times. I was up really late, making sure I was troubleshooting all the electrical in the entire house to make sure I didn't blow the whole house up. So slowing down, I think, is something that a lot of us have to do more of. And especially now, right? Because I think there's a lot of uneasy people and a lot of restlessness happening lately because everybody's home and we're on top of each other and people are worrying and wondering all at the same time. So we have a tendency to be tense, and the idea is that we're always looking to get to that next thing because we can't seem to move around without somebody, and I mean by somebody, I mean the government, telling us we can't go somewhere, do something, have friends over, have family over, do all these things. And like I said, I already explained to everybody how I feel about that. It's bullshit. So the idea is that slowing down, I think now at this point, is important for us to take into consideration, that we need to think and reflect and look back on how much we've done and how much we should and how we should appreciate ourselves for the amount of work we do and the amount of time we spend doing the things we do, and not worry about so much about getting it done as fast as we possibly can, but as good as we possibly can, and with the idea of the achievement behind what we've done, right? Because I think that's the hardest part. And especially for me. For me, I have a tendency to be extremely hard on myself. So that's why I take on a lot of projects and do a lot of things at one time. Because I'm always thinking, why am I not doing that instead of waiting? Why didn't I get to that right away? Why do I have this idea that I'm waiting for something else to happen in order for me to get started to do that thing, right? So like I was saying before, I had to slow down because the computer, I had to bring the computer in because when I tell you I fried the graphics card, and because that power surge went through there, I wasn't comfortable. Here's two reasons. One, I could have fixed it myself, right? That's one. The second part of it was I needed to slow down because had I just went crazy with this idea that I had to open the computer up, fix the electrical in the house, that was the first thing. Open the computer up, then figure out what exactly went wrong, then get the parts, then come back and fix it, then hope it was only that. It was better for me to slow down at that point, bring it to somebody else, and let them kind of handle it. So if there was extremely bad news, because what I was worried about is that I fried the whole computer. I'm just glad it was only the graphics card. So, of course, the good thing is that for the same price of what I paid for the old graphics card, is that I got a new graphics card, but it was better. So there is some silver lining, and we always say that, right? There's always a silver lining to certain things that happen, right? So the silver lining for me was I spent X amount of dollars on the original graphics card, and at the time I had gotten one that was like really, really good. But now I spent basically the same amount of money, except I got an even better graphics card. So it allowed me to see the silver lining as opposed to worrying and creating the chaos in my head, thinking it was going to be a lot worse than it actually was. So, that's why I said slowing down sometimes is extremely important. And listen to me. I'm going to throw these out there. Here we go, because your boy is always excited about working on all the things that he has, right? So you know how I feel. If you feel the need, of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say about that, right? So if you take on a lot more than than you probably should, leave your questions and comments below. Like I said, let's open up the conversation between everybody else. And, tell me how you deal with slowing down. Tell me how you take a break sometimes. That, when you become overwhelmed, what is it that you do to kind of, relax, breathe a sigh of relief, let certain things roll off your shoulders. What is it that you guys do out there? Leave it in the questions and comments below. Let's open up the dialogue for everybody. Let's get everybody talking on the Everything and Nothing podcast so that we can bring up these topics and talk about them with each other. I think it's important to open up a community base for people to, share their feelings, and I'm not saying don't get all crazy deep on me, what I mean? What I'm saying is that, because I ain't Dear Abby, since you could tell, and I know.
Oh, hell no.
So I don't want to hear everybody's really deepest, darkest, secrets and stuff. You guys get to keep them for yourself, okay?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
So don't get too ridiculous on me out there. But leave your questions and comments below so that this way we can open up the dialogue for everybody. I love that part of it. And here's another thing that I've been trying to get everybody to understand too with the Everything and Nothing podcast. You don't only have to watch it on YouTube now. So you can listen to just the audio. I put the audio up on all these platforms that are up on the screen now. Just the audio parts. So if you're out in your car, you're on, or at the gym, or you're in the kitchen cooking and you don't want to turn on YouTube to watch the podcast, go on any one of these podcast platforms and you can listen to the Everything and Nothing podcast. I absolutely just love that part about it, right? Because you don't just have to turn on YouTube, because I know a lot of people were saying sometimes the YouTube thing is, hard because people have a tendency to want to watch it as well, which is great. Please go on YouTube and watch and, leave comments and, do all those things. But you can also go on those other podcasting platforms that are up on the screen now and go and listen to the podcast, anytime you want. It doesn't have to be the live feed. You can, listen to it later on one of those podcasting platforms, which I love. Again, adding more elements to the podcast every week. And I love that fact. And if there's a podcasting platform that you folks use out there, here I go again. Leave it in the questions and comments below. If there's a podcasting platform that you guys listen to that maybe I'm not on, so that this way I can see if I can get on that podcasting platform. All right. And what's good also is maybe you want to listen to my podcast to get some of your downtime, your little relief in, to listen to my podcast. Maybe that helps bring you some, enjoyment and relieve some stress to listen to my antics. I'm more than happy to, do that with you. And here we go. You ready? All you have to do is share it. Share this with anybody you think may find this useful, helpful, and I always say, maybe totally hilarious, who knows? But sharing is caring, right? And Karen's just not somebody I know from Brooklyn. So if you want, share it. And don't forget to do like Fonzie. All right. Do like Fonzie. Everybody, otherwise you're going to get right? You know how it goes. If you don't get this, you're going to get, all right? And I know by now, everybody's saying the same thing.
My God, are you still talking?
Yes, I am. This is the Everything and Nothing podcast. And that's what I do. So let's see what's going on out there with everybody. And again, thank everybody. Thank you out there for, doing all those things. And of course, all my super chats out there, Tina, Yolanda, thank you so much. I tell you right now, it really does bring a smile to my face that you guys enjoy my content enough, that the super chats are they're more than well received. Thank you again. And who else we got? Here? I get exciting, and I'm never satisfied with myself at times. Yes. Yeah, I know that's how it is. I like to cook. It's my area where I feel to get away from everything. That's good, Gina. I know. I do too. I do a lot of the cooking. Of course, a lot of people ask me a lot of times, hey Joyce, what's up? Staying calm, had no sound today and just kept moving until he did. Nice. That's what you got to do sometimes. You just got to, I say that a lot. Keep moving. So I think I started cooking for a lot of reasons, but I think one of the biggest reasons for me when I cooked is that it relieved a certain amount of stress for me. It helped me slow down, believe it or not. Even though cooking for some people can be kind of stressful and can kind of, get people, anxious and uneasy because, preparation and not sure about how to cook things and there's fire involved and sharp knives and what have you. A lot of people become apprehensive. But for me, my calmest feeling is when I'm in the kitchen cooking. It truly is. Or, and I say cooking, but I think the idea, the message behind the cooking for me is the thinking process. And I think I am the most comfortable when I'm thinking about things as I'm working. So that's why I like working with my hands and working in construction and carpentry work and problem solving just in general. The idea of problem solving for me becomes, it's very enjoyable. That's number one. And number two, it's calming for me. It gives me a way to focus my energy on one thing at that time, right? Because even the thought process before the building or the mise en place before the cooking, like the prep work, is where I am my most calm and my most focused, because I'm thinking about the materials. That's number one. I'm thinking about the process, which I missed a step there. And I'm thinking about the idea of the engineering aspect of getting it all done at the same time. So I really enjoy that part of it. So the thinking and problem solving for me is the most calming and the most relaxing. And cooking gives me a way to incorporate all those things at one time, right? Because we have to get the mise en place done. We have to figure out the process of how to add the ingredients at the times that they need to go in, and then getting the finished product, which means serving the food. So that gives me all the elements that I need. That brings calmness to me. What gives me anxiety, which I get a lot, is the fact that, like, what happened before and not being able to slow down to have made sure I didn't miss any of the steps, right? Because when I got started with the podcast earlier today, you noticed I didn't have any sound. And that was because I just got the computer back last night and I didn't check everything. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I thought I checked everything. So you know who gets the goat today? I get the goat today. That's what's up, folks. I get the goat because I didn't slow down enough to give myself enough time to appreciate all the work I've done, everything I've gotten, everything that has, all the parts that it took to get everything done, like, how I came up with the game plan, how I got started, and when I got finished. I don't give myself enough, accolades or enough, pats on the back to say, okay, time to slow down. And before you move to the next step, take a minute, relax, breathe, take a sip, take a sip of something, smoke a little something, do something, bring yourself down a little bit. And then this way you can get yourself re-energized to get back to what you were doing with a much clearer head, with a much clearer sign of when the end is going to come and how to get there. And I have a tendency not to do that. And then the other thing is I don't take enough time in between doing the next thing. So I have a tendency to have more than one thing going on at one time, because as soon as I finish with one thing, I want to be on to the next one already. And I need to figure that out. I need to figure that out so that I don't get so caught up with too many things at one time, because I'm not giving myself enough time to reflect and think about the things that I've done and really understand what needs to be done next and why it should be done next. Whether next is just sitting down for 10, 15 minutes or one day or 2 days. and, not doing as much, so that this way I can get focused, and refocusing on things. And here's what helps me too, and the reason why I have more than one project going on at one time a lot is because if I get stuck in on one project doing something, and maybe I can't figure out the next step, or maybe I'm just getting, tired or fed up with what I'm doing, I can move on to something else, and that reminds me, moving on to something else, letting everybody know here, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys like the content. It's, kind of important. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It does help. And also, get your bell rung. Get your bell rung with your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio. This way you get notified and you can take a break and watch my YouTube channel. So get your bell rung there, folks. And I got a little glitch, and I think in this one here. Like I think there's a pause and a reset button that I have to work on the Stream Deck in order to get this thing to work a little bit better. So I finally got it so that when I hit the keys, that it doesn't play twice, because it used to play 2 times. But now it'd be Jimmy 2 times, right? Got to get the papers. But now I have it so that it just plays once, which I like. But I think the bell one, there's some kind of glitch somewhere, and I may just have to reload it, because sometimes when I hit it, it doesn't ring the bell. But make sure you're doing all those things. It really does help me. You can find me on all those social media platforms out there. Hopefully you are subscribed and following me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I think that's it. That's really Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. I think those are the big ones, and those are the ones I'm on. So, follow, subscribe. You get little, bleeps and blurbs on there about the YouTube videos that I'm working on and, when they're coming out. So subscribe to my social media, follow me on social media, and this way you can see what's going on with me in the interim, in between the videos. You heard? Now, I think my time is up for today. I need to, you know why? Because I need to slow down. I got things. Oh, so let me tell you. All right, real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here, all right? So hold on a minute. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, okay? Listen, because I know everybody's like,
My God, are you still talking?
I'm sorry, but I am. I'm sorry, all right? And I know somebody's out there going,
Oh, hell no.
because he said he was finished, but.
Oh, hell no.
So, but wait, one more thing. I'm trying to add more features to the podcast and, getting the production value up a lot more. So okay, let me see how I'm going to get this up here, right? Just give me 1 second. So here we go. This is one of the reasons why let's put this in here, why I've been busy working on a lot of things. So of course everybody knows, I'm always taking on projects. So the backyard is, okay, the backyard is looking fantastic. And you see, I'm upping the production value on the podcast here, which I absolutely love. So I've been working on the backyard a lot. And over here, you'll see, so I put up the fence last year, and I've been working diligently on getting the grass to grow properly. But you'll notice over here in the bottom left-hand corner, I had this, in between the fence and the patio, I had this open space. And I finally got to building the platform level with the rest of the patio so that that space over there wouldn't be there anymore. And it's, and I'm kind of glad I got to that. So that space that's over there next to the fence that I have a close-up on the left bottom hand side, and then you'll see in the middle section here, you'll see that I had to close it all up. So I put the platform on top, and then I had to close the front of it so that you wouldn't see underneath it because it looked, kind of horrible. And there's on the top right-hand side, you'll see that's the big view of my house from the backyard all the way in the back by the shed. You'll see the shed on the left-hand side, and that's the fence I put in last year, and the shed went in a couple of years ago. And yeah, I like I said, I build everything myself, do everything myself. So it's always a lot of work. I'm always doing a lot of work at one time. So you'll see the backyard, that's the back of the house, and the patio's all set up for the summer season's coming right here. Got the grill outside. And you'll see you got the 2 planted calla lilies of my favorite flower over there. And that's the backyard from the patio view. And you'll see that there. But yeah, I've been kind of busy, and I do way too much at one time, and I'm glad that the yard is done so that I can, get out there and get some enjoyment time. Last year, the patio was finally, reworked it and finally done. But I was just so busy doing so many other things, I didn't get a chance to enjoy it. But this year, this summer, no, for sure. I'm going to slow down a little bit. And that's my advice to everybody for today. Slow down, take a breath. You need a little distraction, do something else, even if the something else is nothing. And everybody, I can't say thank you enough. You know how it goes. This is brought to you by the ENN Studios, the Everything and Nothing Studios. Please subscribe to my channel. It really does help. And if you can, ring the bell so you get notified next time I put a video up on my YouTube channel. Now, I have the cooking and eating videos going up now. I have the building and fixing videos going up. And I have the Everything and Nothing podcast on Sundays. You can find me on all the social medias. You know how it goes, the Instagrams, the Facebooks. I TikTok it when it's necessary. And I'm, flying like the Twitter thing right there with what it is. And catch me on the Facebooks, all right? Do all those things right there. Thank everybody super chatting it today. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you very much. And if you like this, please do the Fonz. All right. And I know most of the young cats out there don't even know who the Fonz is, but that's all right. And I don't know. Share the video if you think there's somebody that may find this helpful, useful, or totally hilarious. Either one of them, it doesn't even matter. I'm not, I'm not one to, say any different. Leave any questions and comments. Let me know what you're doing out there to relax now. How are you, settling down? How are you finding some downtime? What do you do? What are you doing? Maybe I'll take up a hobby. What do you do? And that's it. Nobody gets the GOAT today except for me. I'm getting the GOAT today because I blew my screen up and my computer up. So I get the GOAT today. There's no two ways about that. And yes.
My God, are you still talking?
I'm done, folks. I don't know what else to tell you. If you want to listen to my podcast, I'm on all these other podcasting platforms. You don't have to just watch it on YouTube. You can catch me on all these other podcasting platforms. And go do that because...
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
All right. But I got to go. And you know my message, right? And that's every day is a good day. And if you give a smile, you gon' get a smile. Give a bunch of them smiles out there, folks. Everybody needs them, especially me this week, folks. I gotta go. Peace out.